कभी कभी कुछ फिल्में ऐसी होती हैं that you go into the theaters expecting maybe mindless fun, but you soon realize कि उसमें fun ज़्यादा है नहीं, so it ends up just being mindless. Hi, I'm Pratiksha Mishra and you're listening to my review of Singham Again. If the introduction is any hint, I didn't particularly enjoy this film, and let me tell you why. There are currently two franchise films battling it out in the box office this Diwali. एक है Singham Again and दूसरा है भूल भुलैया 3. अगर आप इन दोनों के ओरिजिनल फिल्म्स देखो, you'll essentially realize why these made it into franchises, because they're both films that are iconic, essentially classics in their genre, and also have given their lead actors an iconic character that is almost synonymous with them. Singham cannot exist without Ajay Devgan. Bhale Rao Singham is a character that you genuinely just can't detach from the actor, and in a very good way. If the 2011 original Singham was about this honest cop जो corruption से लड़ रहा है, politician से लड़ रहा है, while also trying to avenge the death of another officer, Singham Again is a film that is practically about nothing. Like genuinely, if you break this film down into its atoms, into its bits and bobs, you realize that इस film में कुछ है ही नहीं. With Singham Again in the cop universe, Rohit Shetty is essentially trying in a very exasperating sense to recreate maybe like an Infinity War-esque kind of addition to the cop universe, but it does not work. अगर मार्वल में एक सुपर हीरो फटीग सेट इन हो गया है, then there is probably a cop universe fatigue that will set in after this film. There is no denying कि जो ऐसी फिल्में हैं which are inspired by myths or by legends or by very famous pieces of literature or by epics, they tend to make for very good films for the most part. For instance, in cinema, epics like the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, or pieces of literature like the Iliad or Hamlet have all been used to tell wonderful stories, and Rohit Shetty also attempts to do something of that sort with Singham Again. The basic plot of Ramayana kind of hangs as a shadow over Singham Again, और जो characters हैं film के, they essentially are stand-ins for characters from the Ramayana itself. Singham, played by Ajay Devgan, for instance, is the brave warrior. He stands in for Ram. His wife Avni, played by Kareena Kapoor Khan, stands in for Sita. Then there's Ranveer Singh's character Simba from a film of the same name from the cop universe, who stands in for Hanuman, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of characters doing a lot of standing in. Then there is the introduction of Deepika Padukone's character Shakti Shetty, aka Lady Singham, who doesn't stand in for anything in the Ramayana. Instead, she kind of stands in for Singham, because we see shots of her in action interspersed with shots from the original Singham film. Does this make sense to you? Probably not. Okay, fine. For a second, let's say कि हम इस फिल्म में logic expect नहीं कर रहे हैं. A lot of Rohit Shetty's films have worked without the need to rely on a strong screenplay. They work from the action, from the comedy, from the over-the-top-ness of it all. Fine. Let's for a second say कि ठीक है, जानने दो logic को. Shakti Shetty's character is just not a strong character in general. Deepika Padukone, great actor. The character, absolutely horrible. उनसे ये एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है कि वो स्लो मोशन में गाड़ियों से उतरे, विलन्स को पीटें, कॉर्नी से 2-3 डायलॉग मारे, अपना एक स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस एस्टैब्लिश करे, पर वो यहाँ हो नहीं पाता है, एंड इज जेन्युइनली सच अ पिटी. एज यू वुड एक्सपेक्ट, Singham Again is loud, it's obnoxious, it's everything hammed up to 100. और रोहित शेट्टी कुछ ऐसी फिल्में हैं where these characteristics were kind of strengths. Here they are not. Here they honestly just add to how tedious the film can feel. Singham Again is genuinely testing your patience, and not even because the background score is so overwhelming. वो पिछले फिल्मों में भी था, but at least it felt iconic, it felt strong. Here it does not, because हमें original जो Singham का title track है या जो Singham का background score है, entry score है, वो यहाँ नहीं मिलता है, तो we're purely relying on Ajay Devgan for that effect to come through, because the new background score genuinely is not working. ये भी बहुत जल्दी क्लियर हो जाता है फिल्म में कि the filmmakers itself know that इस फिल्म में ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं as a strength. It's clearly just trying to manipulate the audience. If the links to the Ramayana are not working for you, there are that घर में घुस के मारेंगे brand of dialogues that show up in the film. Forget that they feel out of place. It's just so annoying and just boring and dull to watch at this point. We get it. It's the same dialogues over and over again. At one point, youth from Kashmir show up to Singham and they're like, stone pelting is old-fashioned. We're on your side now. I was confused कि हंसना है कि रोना है, because what does that even mean? Honestly, the film remains a little watchable because of the cast, and primarily because of our main protagonist and our main antagonist, played by Ajay Devgan and Arjun Kapoor. Arjun Kapoor plays a character known as Danger Lanka, who operates from India and Sri Lanka. No points for guessing who that stands in for in the Ramayana. But this is a character that he's playing fully committed to the role. He's menacing, he's terrifying, he's honestly ruthless, and it's very exciting to see Arjun Kapoor in a role like this. And Ajay Devgan is Singham. Unka wo booming voice, that sheer screen presence, the way he can make even the most corniest of dialogues work in this character is a huge blessing to this film, genuinely. This Kareena Kapoor Khan, who's playing Avni, who is essentially a part of the cultural arm of the Indian government, and her job is to put up this very massive scale Ram Leela. She does a pretty good job as her character, but उनके character में ज़्यादा कुछ करने को है नहीं. She snaps back when she must. उनके characters में कहीं कमी हमें थोड़े से shades देखने को मिलते हैं, but it's genuinely not a fully realized character, and that is also again a pity because look at the actor that you have here, completely wasted potential. But speaking of like the protagonist and the antagonist, जो अर्जुन कपूर का character है, उनका नाम है जुबैर. Who is surprised? The few things we know about him is that he studied in London and he's in the film's language quote unquote not a jihadi, which in itself honestly is just growth from the cop universe that I was not expecting. He's also introduced as someone who is as shrewd as he is ruthless because he's based on Ravan's character. पर ये जो उसके qualities हैं वो हमें देखने को मिलते नहीं हैं ज़्यादा, especially when he's clashing with Singham's character. This could have been a very memorable showdown. The climax could have genuinely saved the second half of the film, but it just comes across feeling a little lackluster. And obviously since a cop universe and I compared it to Infinity War also, उनकी लड़ाई अकेले में नहीं चल रही है. There are a lot of other characters and cameos that also show up. One that I have mentioned, which is Ranveer Singh's character Sangram or Simba. Then there is ACP Satya Bali played by Tiger Shroff and DCP Veer Suryavanshi played by Akshay Kumar. ये सब अपने अपने टाइम पे स्टोरी में एंट्री लेते हैं. Of all the entries, the most comical has to be of the character Satya. Genuinely, when I saw his entry, I had to stop myself from laughing because it almost feels like ये एक ऐसा cop है जो जंगलों में घूम रहा है, just randomly घूम रहा है, and is just hoping that he will stumble upon a case or stumble upon some fight and get to play the hero. That being said, Tiger Shroff's action set piece in the film is genuinely one of the best. इस फिल्म की action choreography की अगर हम बात करें, it is nothing unique as such. There's nothing that will wow you. कहीं कहीं पे ऐसे sequences हैं which are impressive. You see a bit of the Rohit Shetty directorial touch creep in, but other than that, it all feels a little choppy. जो फिल्म की editing है, that is not doing it any favors either. Especially एक ऐसा scene है where Suryavanshi essentially just does a tiny little hop to the ground, and it seems so awkward because the scale is so massive और उनके पीछे एक helicopter चल रहा है, but it genuinely just looks like a playground scale hop. However, as I mentioned, there is one set piece that truly stood out to me and genuinely gives you a glimpse of how impressive this film could have been both in scale and in choreography. That is